Get ready for some cool talk. Presented by Brown's Heating, Air, and Plumbing. With your host, Brandon Brown.
Rocking the new year in here at Grove Street FM, Watts Creative Studio here in Bedford, Virginia. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Season 2. We're getting close to 100 total episodes on our podcast and shows, which is amazing. It's been a crazy year last year. I'm glad it ended on good notes for everybody, I hope. I hope everybody started the new year out well. If you have not downloaded the Grove Street FM app, you're missing out. Woody has added a ton of music selections. All the podcasts. We're on Roku TV now. Download the app on your Roku TV and play it in your office.
We're actually right now, because we have it playing in the lobby.
In the lobby?
Like, Brandon, you're in the lobby and in the studio.
Okay. We're live. So if you're on Roku, download the Grove Street FM. I think it's just search Grove Street FM.
That's all you got to do.
And download the app. Most of Woody's podcasts go live on there, but he also has other shows on there, music. The podcast that you missed will be playing throughout the day. He now has sports live, Bedford County high school sports.
Yep.
Play-by-play announcing.
And
they're doing great.
Brian and Bart doing wonderful. We are mainly covering right now the girls varsity basketball because they are undefeated.
Yeah.
And they have been rocking it this season. So we were there Monday against Allegheny, and we are back this Monday, the 9th, when they play Heritage.
Ooh, so you can listen, on your
live.
phone. And I guess that'll be on Roku too when you go live, right?
It'll just be in the app. Audio
the
only,
app.
no video.
No video. Okay.
No, you don't want all these faces on video.
No. You just want to hear it.
Yeah.
So definitely download the app. And man, we're looking forward to a great 2023. I was watching, man, it was crazy. The resemblance. They caught the murder. Well, hopefully, I think they did the murderer for that Idaho 4.
That was crazy.
Man, somebody posted a picture of him side by side with that. Was it Jeffrey? What's his name?
Dahmer?
Yeah.
Oh,
and you see how much they resemble each other?
That gives me chills.
Yeah. And it's just so crazy hearing the details emerge of that and his background and everything leading up to it. It's just so crazy. You just always got to be diligent and where you're at and your whereabouts. It's just so scary now.
Always head on pivot. You know what I mean? Like, he's always aware, looking around.
It's just sad. It's scary. You gotta, your kids go to college and want to have a good time and learn, and you have to worry about that every night and never know who's around. I mean, just keep your heads up and always looking. But that's going to be interesting to see. The only thing is, in Idaho, they don't allow cameras in courts, so that one will not be on court TV. I always get glued to some of those cases. But 2023, man, we had a good Christmas. I do want to say that we took some time off. Of course, you didn't hear us here live for a couple of weeks. We took some time off while the boys were out of school and hung around the house, did some activities, and went by way too fast. New Year's Eve, we got back to some of our old tradition. We actually got a hotel room locally with some really good friends of ours, and we just order food in and watch football and the ball drop and play games and kind of bring it in together, just relaxing, which was fun. So watch the ball drop and in 12:01 go to bed. So Woody didn't even realize New Year's hit.
Oh man,
he said,
Laura had to come in and tell me. She's like, "Hey, I forgot what day it was. I didn't even. I was like, oh, all right, yeah. That sounds great."
Happy
20. What are we on now?
20 what?
23. 23 already. When somebody says to you, Brandon, 20 years ago, what's the first year that pops into your brain?
2020. Or you mean 20 years?
Yeah, like
2000.
Yeah, like if somebody says, hey, like 20 years ago I did this. Like, what's the year in your brain?
Oh, that's a good one.
I can tell you what mine is.
What's yours?
The 80s. That's how out of date I am. Somebody says 20 years ago was in the 2000s.
Yeah, you're back 40.
That's 40 years ago.
I always reminisce back, and I'm like, man, thinking about what I was doing in high school and sports and different things and how I got to where I was. And sometimes you're like, man, I wish I could go back. And then all of a sudden, you also think, I'm like, man, I'm glad you know where I'm at.
I know. I don't really. I want to go back, but as I am now.
Yeah, I just
does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's exactly. Yeah, go back. If you knew what we knew now back then, I could be rich because I would have done some investing, different ways, or buying some different things. Everybody told you
Apple.
to. Yeah. Apple.
What else? Apple mainly.
Amazon.
Mainly Apple.
Amazon.
Netflix.
Apple.
Well, no, I don't know. Netflix is kind of going down now.
Bitcoin. If I'd have got in Bitcoin when it was like negative something, and then got out now, it's crazy. But 2023, it's just time is flying by so fast. And when we were little, your parents and everybody always said, time's gonna go by fast, and it gets faster as you grow up. And I didn't believe it till just recently, a few years ago. I'm like, man, they were right.
Yep.
Everything's so fast. So happy New Year to everybody. Some new things coming this year. This is season 2 for Brown's Heating Air, or Cool Talk podcast by Brown's Heating Air and Plumbing. We will have co-hosts like we had talked about last week. When I was on the air last, my wife
last year.
Yeah, last year. My wife Dara will be in several times this year. We're going to get a better schedule out, and she'll be in several times. Kind of going over. We're going to try to bring some business ideas and knowledge to you. She does with her marketing and different things. We try to help small businesses grow. So we're going to be able to do that together. So that'll be fun, and we're going to invite a lot of guests, maybe some employees on, talk about where how they like working for us, where they come from, how they got in heating and air. Some other small business owners. We'll get back to getting some special guests and interviewing throughout the year. And the app just keeps continuing to grow. So that's amazing. We love everybody that's listening, and hopefully, if you have any recommendations or things you want us to talk about, hit us up. Cool Talk. You can go to our Facebook page and message us. You can go to Grove Street FM, Watts Grave Studios, or just in the app alone too. You can go to contact us and send us some requests or topics you want to know about if you're a small business owner, or things you have questions about in your home for heating and air. We'll be glad to answer all of them. So that'll be good this year. We've got new as of January 1st. We talked about it last year too, but now it's official. There are some new efficiency laws for heating and air. So make sure if you are looking to replace your system, please do your homework. Make sure the companies that come out, they give you estimates wherever you are up to date on the new code changes, because each region of the country have different laws. So make sure you're up to date with the laws. They're putting in the correct models, because some models are, believe it or not, illegal for us to install if they're not meeting the efficiency ratings that they've set before us in the energy department. And also check with your local taxes and states, because there are some tax incentives and rebates out there when you do file your taxes if you get new system this year, so you can get paid back and earn some income on that. I mean, it's not much on the rebates, but there are some depending on what you do. So make sure you research that. And we've seen a lot. I mean, with inflation and stuff going up, we're seeing a lot of people, and we seen it a lot last year when it first hit with gas, but we're seeing it a lot now this year with the holidays, of a lot of people scamming people, showing up, doing work or getting money up front, not coming back. So it's very disheartening to see that. We go out and help a lot of customers after the fact, and we wish we could have got there at the beginning. But if you're looking to do any home project, and it could be a deck, it could be a kitchen, it could be heating and air, plumbing, research who you're coming out to give you estimates and quotes. Make sure they're licensed, make sure they're insured. And 9 times out of 10, and to me, 10 times out of 10, you do get what you pay for. It's worth going with a more established company and paying a little higher for your services than it is to save in time of need, especially during this time with inflation up and people losing jobs and pay. I know it's hard to budget things like this, but in the long run, it'll pay for itself and save you a lot of money and headache, just going on and making sure you're doing legit company to do your work. because we see a lot of scams. I've seen people show up, say that the guys show up to do something and get half the money and won't return their call, won't return the money, and then they're out of thousands of dollars. So now more than ever, just make sure you do your homework. You can go to the DPOR website, Department of Regulations, just DPOR.com, and you can look up people's name, business company, addresses. You can see if they're licensed. You can see if there's been any kind of citations for illegal activity on them. If their license don't come up and they say they've got a license, you can call DPOR too if you don't find it online and give them their info, and they'll tell you if they're legal to do the work in your area. So make sure you do your homework. I know we're on there. You can look at DPOR, look up my name and Brown's Heating Air. We got a Class A. We got our MasterCard. We've got all our insurances. A lot of companies around here do, but there's also a lot that don't. And it doesn't take but one job, one person that can really set you back. So start the new year off. That's one thing we wanted to bring up. Make sure you're just doing your homework, because a lot of home projects will start to kick off here as the winter dies down. We see a lot of when tax time comes, a lot of home projects start to ramp up. So definitely do your homework on that. And that's what else we got today.
Oh man, we got so much. It's raining outside right now.
Raining like crazy.
The weather is absolutely insane. I'm gonna tell you one thing. You know what was funny over Christmas when we got the really, really, really cold snap, right? What did it get down to?
Oh man, like 5 degrees.
5 degrees. So we had our upstairs bathroom vanity sink, just the sink. That was the only pipe that froze, because that's the only pipe like that goes up the exterior wall.
Oh,
and it was funny because like I was worried about it busting in the wall, but then I started looking up online, and you provided some great resources during that time, like to keep and even my mother-in-law was like, "Oh, well, Brandon, I need to ask him. He hadn't posted about this, So she was asking us, and I was like, I don't know. Like, you got to ask the expert. So, I mean, that stuff really does help, because all this, you've talked about this stuff before.
Yeah.
However, it really doesn't hit until something happens, and then all of a sudden you get into panic mode. And you're like, well, what can I do? What can I do? And then, like you said, cut your thermostat up a couple degrees so it doesn't have to work.
Yeah. It's and that temperature was like this Christmas was one, and I don't think it was a record.
It was a record. Yeah.
We haven't had these in houses around here aren't used to that cold of it. And the bad part won't the cold temperatures as much as the wind.
Yeah.
I mean, we had people calling with pipes freezing, even with their water running almost all the way open all night, because the wind would hit under a home or hit the lines and it would just flash freeze. It didn't matter if it was running or not, and it would still freeze pipes. So the wind it just made it 1,000 times worse.
Yeah.
And then when you get in these cold temperatures, and I tell people it's hard. I know it's hard to understand if people think, oh, if I put it in emergency heat or auxiliary heat only, my electric bill is going to go through the roof. But if you actually think of how a heat pump works, a heat pump, just like in summer, it has to cool 100. If it's hot outside, you got to cool. You're asking an outdoor unit to cool 190 to 100 degree air to 70. Outside's the same way. It reverses. So if it's 5 degrees outside and you're trying to heat, 9 times out of 10, no matter how old the unit is, it doesn't matter. They're only going to cool anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees above your outside temperature, or warm heat your house. So 5 degrees, you're not going to get, your house is not going to maintain 70, 75, because people are like, man, it's 75 and just running. So it's actually better for your system when it gets that cold to go on and switch to the auxiliary heat, which is electric heat inside, cut the outdoor unit off, and let it just go ahead and get that heat so it's circulating indoor air only, not trying to heat the outside, and warm your house up so it'll satisfy and cut off until you get, closer to 20 degrees or so where you can turn the heat pump back on. And with that cold coming, that's why we told people, go ahead and start the day before, the day of, warm your house up a few degrees warmer, put some towels, block your windows, block your doors, hold the heat in. so that when it does get colder, you're warmer inside longer.
Yeah.
Um,
Now we went around. I read the tips that you had posted, and what we did was we opened up the cabinet doors to that, to the faucets.
yeah,
And I cut up all the thermostats about 2 to 3 degrees so that it would it get a little bit warmer. And we had I put like a space heater in the bathroom,
yeah,
to open up. So it's funny though. It's because I know that, you talk about this stuff in the podcast and all, but it's like when it actually hits, it's really good to be prepared, because then I know a lot of people were playing catch up. And then a lot of people had pipes bust. A lot of people, and if you do a little bit, I was guilty of it. If you do a little bit of preventative, like when you started posting about a day or two before, if you do that, it will help you out tremendously.
It'll minimize your damage.
I mean, because it is not if you had a pipe bust in the wall, unreal.
Yeah,
the cost and the
and hopefully people
inconvenience.
I feel bad for the ones that maybe were traveling or not home and it bust and they come home.
Oh,
did you see the pictures up at Wintergreen?
I did. Oh, it's
where
horrible.
that condo place, it busted up and it just was ice.
Oh,
the whole inside of the apartments and condos and outside was just solid. Like the pictures in Buffalo. Did you see the pictures after the blizzard? And their house just looked like an ice cube,
unreal,
literally ice cube, where the ice and snow had froze to the house and you couldn't even get in the house.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't have to go through that.
Now, what do you suggest in like a case like, all right, so like now the temperature, I mean, it was 65 degrees.
My air conditioner was on yesterday.
Yeah. So what do you do in instances like that to on several accounts, like to minimize energy consumption, to keep your house, where it's not like heat cold. Like what's the normal settings? And I know weather like this is not normal, but like what would you recommend putting it on?
And when it gets cold in the winter and people call us all the time that their bill is high or it's running all the time, I'll ask what they're set on. And a lot of them are 75, 78, 80. And you're, and honestly, I know you're just not going to, if it's cold, the colder it gets outside, you're not going to reach that set point. So if you have some backup gas logs or heaters or something just for the room you're in, and you can set it around 68 to 70, you're going to save energy. I tell people there were several houses we've been to that we'll look up in the attic. I tell people if your house is over 10 years old and you haven't been up in your attic in that long, that you need to add insulation, because the wind will blow through your eaves and move your insulation around and it'll settle. And we've been up and I've had people call like, yeah, my insulation was down below the joist. Mm-hmm. And 10 years ago they blew it above, and for a few $100 you can blow in this insulation in your attics and wherever you can add insulation, and that helps hold the heat in as well and the cool in the summer. And then and people were asking about cabinets, opening cabinets, mainly if your water lines are on the exterior wall where that cold air is hitting behind it on the side, and if you can open your cabinets to let the heat stay in the cabinet and blow through to kind of warm it up, that helps prevent the freezing.
Yeah. Okay.
And your systems are pretty new, so yours probably maintained pretty good. Man,
we were. I'm just thankful we didn't lose power. But we were comfortable the whole time. We never were cold. We never lost and here, like I even started, because I'm on the cheap thrifty side. Here, I would wait until the day of and cut the mini splits on. Well, now over Christmas, I just left everything on, and honestly, it has helped regulate the temperature in here so well.
Yeah, you got to, because you don't want to play catch up. It's same in summer when people leave on vacation and they set. The one thing that I don't like, if you set your thermostat up like 80, and your house gets full of heat and humidity the week you're gone, it takes a whole nother week to kind of balance it back out.
I'm finding that out here.
You can do it a few degrees, but not major.
Yeah.
Like a major change.
Well, and what I noticed, you kept preaching it, and that it would not, the electricity bill wouldn't go up that much. It wouldn't go up that much. And it really didn't. I left it on all of, when it was super cold, so they wouldn't. And really, it really didn't. No. Like, it really didn't affect it as much as I thought it would, as much as people post online. But I'm sure, I know there's 1,000 different factors on everybody's electricity bill.
I don't know what happened with it. I know a lot of people were complaining about AEP's bills so high. And I need to look. Did they raise their rates, or do you know
what happens occasionally though? And I forget. You know how you kind of have, if people opt into that average plan, You know, that like you average it out through the year, and then all of a sudden at the end of the year, you've got to either pay catch up or you're on a new average or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there are a lot of old houses in Lynchburg. I mean, there are a lot of old houses around this area. And if it drops down that low, I don't think people are just used to the stuff running that much.
No,
I mean, really.
And that meter's just spinning. Like I said, it's just spinning. And that's one thing you need to look at: windows, insulation value. You can go in and upgrade the system, heat and air system, to the best in the world. But if your house is not tight, insulated, windows and doors, your anything that's leaking, old siding, if it's not insulating the walls, it doesn't matter. It's going to run, and you're never going to catch up. So that's a lot of things this spring when you're starting to look at updating stuff. You know, check your windows if they're older, and your insulation, because just blowing in the insulation, like I said, people have called and made us a huge difference.
Yeah.
In their homes, and then water lines. Yeah, it was just crazy. I know people had lost power through Christmas several days. I was so worried for them. Even newer houses, they're not used to being shut down, no power, and 6 degrees and water in the lines.
And I saw a couple of people posting on TikTok in Texas. Like, those houses are absolutely not even built for anything that happened. And then they like you said, people walking in, and there was just, water everywhere.
Yeah. And so in Arkansas, they actually in Arkansas, they have tankless water heaters.
Yeah.
They mount them outside.
Oh my gosh.
The dumbest idea ever. And I saw another company I follow I think it's Arkansas and Alabama.
Yeah.
Every call they had was frozen water lines. And they're like, why would your code make us mount these outside?
That's ridiculous.
It's
anyway.
dumb. It's stupid. And now they're like, well, we need to change that code. And everything here is inside. You don't mount them outside.
Virginia's really, in my opinion, we have such diverse weather that I feel like we are semi-prepared for almost anything at this point, because now we even have tornadoes come through, right? So it is really nice that our emergency services, our public works, our electricity, our companies like yours, are aware and capable of fluctuations, because like in a place like Texas, how many HVAC places have ever had to deal with something like that?
Yeah, and most of them don't have heat pump. I know in Florida it's done straight air and electric heat. They don't ever run the heat. So like even Florida, I think Disney on Christmas was down in the 30s. I don't know.
It was cold.
It was cold. They actually they had to go out and buy some sweatshirts, and hopefully they were in stock.
Gosh.
Because I know the temperature dipped on down, and I think it's supposed to get cold again this weekend, isn't it? I think it's after this rain and gets out of here, we're going to be back down cold. So
glorious.
I don't think we'll get down to 5-6 degrees again.
I hope not. No, we didn't have the pipe bust. It did slowly. After 2 days, I had it running, and I heard it started dripping. And no! Thank God! And then I cut it open, and it started flowing, and we were fine. So
you get the leak fixed too.
It wasn't any leak.
Oh, you got lucky.
Well, that I know of yet.
Oh gosh!
Hopefully this summer I don't have a sprinkler popping through the wall. So we'll find out pretty quick.
Yeah, I hope not. You probably would know now. As warm as
I didn't lose any pressure. So the fact that the pressure's still good on that one.
Yeah,
and I don't see any.
You would probably.
I'd hopefully known by now.
You'd have known by now. It's as warm as it is. If it was a leak, you would know. That sheetrock would be wet.
Yeah.
The dog would be getting a shower in the living room.
Honey, do you like my new water feature in the living room? It's
the water fountain.
It's great.
Yeah, we can put in a new fountain.
Yeah, I'll put a statue.
Just need a couple swans floating around.
Some lights on it. It'll be beautiful.
And then, how's her the soap and all that do this summer?
She stayed
this Christmas.
She stayed extremely busy.
Nice.
As you know, in like gift giving and retail, there's like a build up. Thanksgiving, couple weeks into December, and then all of a sudden people just that's it, right? She stayed busy up until a couple days before Christmas.
Nice.
And we kind of both you never, when you're self-employed, you never really shut down 100%,
right?
You really can't. But for the most part, we were very conscious this holiday to like take a mental break.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how important that was. It was wonderful. So she sold to a whole bunch of local stores. Local people were purchasing gifts. So it was wonderful. Like really everybody It's been good, man. It's been good.
That's what we need to make sure. That's one thing we do advertise here in Central Virginia is shop local. I think a lot of local places rebounded this year from after the last couple of years of a pandemic and stuff. So I think a lot of local businesses needed this Christmas. And I saw a lot of local businesses thriving, which is great. So
Yeah.
wherever you're at and listening, always think of that. Remember that. Don't forget the local businesses and the business owners that are mom and pop shops that just rely on every sale to make their payments and their bills. So always support them. We always support them here. And we're also going to do that throughout this year. And that's why we interview a lot of business owners. Coming up, we're going to have some interviews and try to promote their business this year. So we'll have some repeats on, try to find some new ones. Just please make sure you're downloading the app and on Roku as well, and keep watching Grove Street FM. There's a lot of great podcasts coming up on Wednesdays. So we look forward to seeing you next week.